I am a father of 5 children. Yeah, exactly, that's how most people react. And 4 of them are girls. So my biggest dream is that one day I will have my own bathroom. Now, when you become a parent, you automatically get a new hobby, which is called looking for the best. And it starts simple, because we all want what's best for them, right? And it starts with looking for the best baby crib, looking for the best stroller, looking for the best diaper, or looking for the best way to get poop out of baby clothes, whichever you prefer. And when they reach a certain age, you start looking for the best schools, the best kindergarten, the best elementary, the best middle school, and eventually, best higher education. We do that because we want them to have the best education possible, to prepare them for a career, to prepare them for the future. But what does it mean to be prepared? Because if we ask the educational institutions, 72% of them will say, our students are ready for the job market. But if we ask employers all around the world, only 42% will say that the students are ready for work. Now that's a huge gap between those two statements. So either they don't have the same definition of being prepared, or it means that schools are out of sync with the needs of the job market. On one hand, we have a global rising youth unemployment. And on the other hand, we have employers who say that they cannot fill their entry-level positions because of the lack of skill. So it's not that there's a job crisis. No, there's a skill crisis. And you may ask the corporate world, well, what are these skills you speak of? And the answer would be, well, essential things. Communication skills, critical thinking, creative problem solving, social awareness, self-knowledge, and so on and so on. And seeing as how these skills not only advance your career, but also contribute to a better quality of life. I just call them life skills. Now, there are some schools that have elements of these skills in their curriculum, but it's not an integrated part of our educational system. We all know that just a diploma isn't enough anymore, because that diploma says nothing about your ability to communicate, your ability to work with others, your ability to solve problems, your ability to get things done. How come we teach our children that a group of rebels attacked an army somewhere in the southern of Europe on May 20th in the year 1439, and they better remember that date. But we don't teach them the skills to succeed in life. We fill their heads with facts and definition, most of which they won't even remember after school. Now, I want you to think back to the time when you were in school, and some of you maybe still are. And try to remember how many times did you have an important test, but you didn't start studying until the day before, and then you went all in, studying all night, trying to cram 15 chapters of information in your head. Next day, go to school like a zombie, do the test, and after you were done with the test, the information just disappeared. As if your brain went into reset mode. Let me see your hands if you recognize that situation. Come on, be honest. Everybody. We all done this. And we do it because we know that schools test our ability to remember, not our ability to learn. All over the world, schools are mostly knowledge-based systems. And if you think about it, it's kind of weird, because research shows that we forget a huge part of what we learn in school. And another part, that becomes obsolete by the time we finish school, because of the change and the speed of change in our society. And yet another part, that's just irrelevant information. How many things did you learn in school that you have never used or will never use in your life? It doesn't make sense. I've forgotten a lot of the things that I've learned in school. But somehow, my brain chooses to remember the formula for calculating kinetic energy. Yeah, feel free to test me after the event. A huge part of our education cannot be maintained. And it's funny if you think about it, because we focus on making everything sustainable. Our energy must be sustainable. Our economy must be sustainable. Our infrastructure must be sustainable. We focus on making everything sustainable except our education. Einstein once said, "It's not that very important for a person to learn the facts. For that, he does not need college. He can learn it from textbooks." The true value of education is not in the learning of facts, but in the training of the mind to think things that cannot be learned from textbooks. What Einstein essentially is saying is that we should not teach our children what to think, but how to think. And how to think is a skill. How to communicate is a skill. Creative problem solving and social awareness also. It's about having a flexible set of skills so that you can manage the change in this uncertain world. When we learn facts, we may forget most of them. But when you unlock a skill, it is there forever. Now that's what I call sustainable education. So what's the solution? Imagine a school that not only develops the mind, but also develops character through personal development. A school that adapts to the learning styles of the students instead of making the students conform to their methods. A school that has classes like social competence, where you learn how to interact with other people to achieve mutually beneficial goals. A school that doesn't grade you on group results, but provides valuable feedback for you to improve. A school where you learn by doing, instead of just following textbooks. A school that doesn't penalize you for failing, but commends you for trying. In order to make this imaginary school into a real-life concept, we need a collaboration between the educational institutions, the government, the corporate world, and most important, those who are affected most, the students and the teachers. They need to be involved. Now, I'm not talking about just an idea for another school reform. We have those every year. I'm talking about changing the essence of why we educate. Nelson Mandela once said, young people need to take it upon themselves to ensure that they receive the best education possible, for they are our future leaders. And he's right. Young people are responsible for receiving the best education. But it is our responsibility to provide them with that best education. So I say, let's provide for their future by changing the present. And I'm dedicated to being a part of that change. And I hope you will too. Thank you.